Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into something pretty interesting, a Christian daily devotional. We're going to break down how it's put together, how it takes just one Bible verse and spins it into this whole framework for belief, and then, get this, scales it up into a massive global digital mission. So, let's see how they do it.
So, believe it or not, everything in this devotional kicks off right here with this one single verse from Revelation. And right away, it sets up this huge contrast, the temporary, messy world we're in versus a perfect, eternal kingdom. This one idea, it's the bedrock for everything that follows. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first. The devotional starts by laying down its core belief, its theological foundation. And that's this idea of a permanent, totally unshakable kingdom of God. And what's key here is that it's not presented as some vague, far-off hope. No, it's framed as a solid, concrete reality that everything else is built on.
And this kingdom, well, it's defined as the ultimate source of hope and security. By saying this is the absolute reality, it's a really strategic move, right? It automatically makes our current world, with all its problems and challenges, seem, well, temporary. Just something that's going to pass away eventually. All right, so once that core belief is locked in, the message does a quick pivot. It moves away from just big ideas, from theology, and gets right into everyday life. It asks the reader to start living with what it calls an eternal perspective. So, what in the world does that actually mean for you and me on a Tuesday?
And here's a great way to see that mental shift they're talking about. It's basically a call to reframe all the hard stuff in life, all the difficulties, by shifting your focus over to the promise of that permanent, secure, eternal kingdom.
And this is where the rubber really meets the road. See, the devotional isn't just asking for a change in how you think, it's pushing for a change in how you act. The whole point is for this eternal perspective to start directly shaping your daily decisions, what you prioritize, and what you actually do.
Okay, so next up, we get to a really crucial point in the text. It's a pivotal moment. The devotional puts a formal invitation on the table, asking the reader to go all in on this belief system through a very specific, very structured prayer.
Yeah, and this isn't just, say whatever is in your heart. Not at all. It's presented as a really structured, almost like a formula for conversion. Every single step is carefully laid out. And, as the text makes sure to point out, each part is backed up by a specific Bible verse to give it that weight, that authority.
So here's what that structure actually looks like. The most important thing to see is that it's a sequence, a series of clear actions. First, you've got the internal part, acknowledging you're a sinner. Then you move on to stating your belief in Jesus. After that comes the outward part, the confession. And it all wraps up with a conscious choice, a commitment to follow and change your life from that day on.
And check this out. Right after you make that commitment, there's an immediate follow-up. The devotional doesn't just leave a new believer hanging, wondering, what now? Nope. It gives them a resource, this free ebook, to guide them. It makes sure they have a clear next step for their journey.
Okay, so now the devotional totally shifts gears. We've been focused on this really personal, individual decision, but now it zooms way out. It builds from that personal moment into this huge, organized, large-scale mission. The lens just widens dramatically from one person to the entire globe. And then it drops a number, a really, really ambitious goal for the organization behind all this. And it's a huge number designed to grab your attention: 500 million.
And this mission, it has a name: Operation 500 Million Souls for Christ. Now this is super important because what it does is it takes that individual prayer of salvation we just looked at and it turns it into something massive, something you can count, a global objective.
So how do you get involved? Well, the devotional lays out 3 really clear ways for people to jump in and play a part. It's not just about what you believe anymore, it's about contributing to the bigger mission. You can pray, you can volunteer your time, or you can give financial support as what they call a kingdom investor. And here's where you really see how this ministry works in the 21st century. I mean, it is not stuck in a physical building. Instead, it's building its community all over the place online, across a whole bunch of different digital and social media platforms. It's a classic strategy, right? Meeting people exactly where they are, which, these days, is online. Wow, okay, this table is fascinating. It really shows you the global coordination that's happening. I mean, look at this. Nigeria, the Philippines, the US, Canada. These are not just random prayer times. They're all strategically synced up across different continents and time zones. And what that does is create this really powerful feeling of a non-stop, 24/7 worldwide prayer chain, all powering the same mission.
All right, so to wrap things up, the devotional brings it all back home. It zooms back in from that huge global mission right back to the individual reader. And it closes out with this powerful, urgent feeling and one final instruction.
In this final statement, it's all about driving home the need to be ready. It's about personal preparation. It pulls that big, grand, eternal plan right down to earth and makes it feel super immediate and super personal for whoever's reading it.
So when you look at the whole thing, you can see how the entire structure is designed to lead to one place, right? It starts with an idea, understanding an eternal kingdom. That leads to a personal choice. That choice connects you to a global mission. And in the end, it all boils down to two things. Get yourself ready, and then go tell other people the same message.
And that leaves us with the big question that's really at the heart of this whole philosophy. How does focusing on the eternal actually change the value we put on the temporary? It's a huge question, right? About how our daily lives connect to a belief in something that lasts forever. It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.